Today we're going to make our way from Burra through Peterborough, Uluru, visit the Kanyaka ruins and finish at Wilpena Pound in the Flinders Ranges.
I'm too shy to straighten up my bones and be a man.
Copper ore was discovered in Burra in 1845, and for the next 10 years it was the biggest mine in Australia.
You wouldn't have done very well back then, John. Too big.
The time's running out, so take the chance. Make a move, cause the store won't stay open till the end.
I'm broken down the fence. They were keen to go for a walk through the tunnel.
When it's over, I will see what I've done. Let it go too soon. Oh, I'll be stronger if you just step right in. 'Cause I need a start to let you in.
I must get inside it. The gauge there, to angle the blades.
While John was briefly explaining to me how these things work, I was in sheer awe of the size of it. The wind turbines are, you usually see from a great distance, but when you get up nice and close, you just realise how big they actually are. Briefly stopped in Peterborough and I checked out a local mural. This one was pretty impressive. This one less so.
Local kangaroos, are they?
Yeah. Had all process just set ready.
Alright.
I'll be stronger if you just.
Giant red gum. Only 500 years old. That's a big tree. John's a big boy, and look at him standing at the bottom of it. He's tiny. John trying to get his phone to work so he can take a photo of his bike. The giant red gum. It's done well.
The ruins you're about to see, I spent quite a bit of time researching. I had to talk John into seeing them because it was a little out of our way, so I was a little nervous that they'd live up to my expectation. The Kanyaka station story has a bit of everything in it. Twists and turns, success, tragedy, and ultimately failure. Kanyaka was established as a cattle station in 1852 by Hugh Proby. Unfortunately, Hugh drowned when he was swept from his horse while herding cattle across a nearby creek. Under subsequent owners, Kanyaka Station grew to become big enough to sustain 70 families living and working there. During its 1864 season, 41,000 sheep were shorn. It turned out to be its best year ever, but 3 years later, after a crippling drought, Kanyaka lost 20,000 sheep. The station survived, but the 70 families had reduced to a mere 15 single men. Kanyaka moved to wheat farming in the mid-1870s, and from all I can gather from my research, was abandoned in the early 1880s and left for ruin. It's amazing to imagine how a station with 70 families living could be closed less than 20 years later. Just goes to show how harsh the Australian outback is.
When was the last real kiss?
Ranges, and it's started day 6, and I've climbed to the top of this little mountain, and the view's amazing, and I'm just shooting a time lapse, waiting for the sun to come up, hit these beautiful red brick sort of cliff faces. Should be quite amazing, should be worth the effort. I had a bit of an accident along one of the beaches. Didn't crash or anything, but my tripod fell off the back, and we didn't realise it fell off until we got probably two hours down the track. It was too far to go back. So we did a bit of a detour into the outskirts of Adelaide and purchased a new tripod. Got lucky, there was a tripod in JB Hi-Fi that was missing a part, so got it for $75 instead of $110. That was a bit of a bonus, and I'm glad we did, because there it is there doing its job, and it's very handy. The road through from JB Hi-Fi through to Harndorf, and then through from there to I can't think of the next place we stayed at, Burra. It was just amazing. It was like through the hills, it was just curve after curve, through the vineyards, and beautiful old buildings everywhere scattered. Johnny's missing out on this, still in bed. Or he's up doing the washing, getting organised. Don't want to leave too early because there'll be kangaroos and wildlife all over the road. Coming in, we saw heaps of kangaroos and a heap of emus, which is unusual. We don't see too many emus in the wild, but I guess you do up here.
See, home sweet home. Plenty of room. Makes a treat. Make sure you keep the smelly boots outside on the doorstep. John's devised his own little toaster. I reckon we might see a little
Flames?
burn hole in the middle.
Well, look at that.
You have to work it around. Work it, John, work it.
Can't really see what I'm doing, mate. Look, just turn it on. It doesn't look really healthy, to be honest. I think it's got mould on it. Is that mould?
Shit, that doesn't look good.
that-
Is that brand new?
Yeah.
We picked an exceptionally good place to start exploring the Flinders Ranges. Sacred Canyon is breathtaking, and I believe it's one of a few places in the Flinders Ranges that actually has Aboriginal engravings that are believed to be up to 30,000 years old.
Mr. Tenere.
Yeah. Been away today.
You know that goat that we saw back where we found that pawn stash? It couldn't be, could it?
It's a mystery to me how it all could happen. A puzzle
I'd researched a lot of things for this trip, but I have to say the Flinders Ranges was a real surprise pack. The landscape is amazing, the colours are vibrant. I must have been living under a rock for the last 43 years because I had no idea this existed. If you are ever near Flinders Ranges, make an effort to go and visit, drive through it. You won't be disappointed.
I was looking, but I must have been, 'cause it got me cooking.
This was our first creek crossing for the trip. I know you're probably thinking to yourself, what kind of creek is that? Yes, probably more like a oversized puddle. But anyway, it was a milestone nevertheless.
Too blind to see it was a case of
Look up a sweat. Lunch? Well, not really. Snack. Dairy free, gluten free, and you wouldn't believe it, it actually tastes nice. Look at the view if you don't mind. Why hasn't someone set up a cafe here? Hey, they'd make a killing. See more cars come past.
You'd be like that homestead, mate, you were at.
My bag keeps going to the right. And we used to go to the left.
No, mine's left.
Mine's been going to
Slightly
the left
old.
the whole trip,
It's like the
and
sausage.
today it's decided to go to the right. You're heading to the left, does it, John?
Sausage. Got a bag.
Why is it going to the right today? Let's correct
You've
that.
overloaded it with your energy bar, mate.
Can you get energy from a gluten-free, dairy-free, vegan bar?
Energy free.
I'll have to look that up.
What's going on? What do you want to do? You want to climb a hill?
I reckon my DR, straight up that one. I'll take the gear off it. No worries at all. Straight up. We'll handle it. It's
I think you should stick with that one, though, right?
as steady as a mountain goat.
Stick with that one, I think, for starters.
Well, that one just...
Beginners
No.
and advanced.
No. That one's just built for DRZs.
Another liner, another.
John Hayward settled Aruna in 1851 and stocked it with 3,300 sheep. In 1862 he sold the property and returned to England. When he landed in Australia he had 40 pound. When he returned 11 years later he had amassed a small fortune, in fact it was quite a large fortune, of 40,000 pounds. The family he sold the property to unfortunately had to deal with a very bad drought and ended up going broke.
The viewing deck. Not a big deck, but it's got a great view.
That we can bury. Doesn't matter if we close our eyes.
How'd that die up here? Didn't get hit by a car.
We did something
Wonder what I could smell. Thought it was you, John.
that I
Clearly.
can't carry. So
Right.
tonight,
So I'd say it's more him today.
pretend that we are lighter than the wind. Oh, I need a break.
As you can see from the sign, we have 184 kilometres to Marree, and it's getting late in the day. We'd spend quite a bit of time
'Cause right now
exploring the Flinders Ranges. Wonderful place, don't regret it at all. But we did have to bypass a few places we would have liked to have stopped at, Farina being one of them. It was just getting too late. You don't really want to spend a lot of time on the roads out here after dusk or even at dusk.
close our eyes. We did so
John's a machine. Even on the motorbike he can find time for exercising. Look at him run.
So tonight, let's pretend that we are nowhere to be
They breed the trucks pretty big out here. This one is not the biggest we've seen, but it gives you an idea of the size of the road trains.
Another lineup, another downfall, but we stand up again.
We made it to Marree, right on dusk, set up the tents, and then made a beeline to the local pub. John wasted no time making friends with the locals. Do you think he can actually see this guy doing it and he's just showing extreme patience?
You got a different chop on, John.
Yeah, I was actually going to take a picture and say,
Cheers.
this is my,
The adventure in the outback
What's this?
has begun.
six done. I've pulled a new shirt out. Wash the other one, Rod, for you.
Yeah.
The ultimate.
Now you've been clean, you have a shower every day.